D2 through H13. Now, to make our Google Sheets vocabulary complete, there are a couple more terms we need to learn. All of the cells that you...
Hey, what up, chat? Today I'm learning, I'm doing sports management basically. So, one of the courses that is available or modules is spreadsheet. So, I want to ace that. I want to ace my course. I want to get it cum laude. So, it's one of the preparations that I'm doing right now with the spreadsheet. I want to actually find a different perspective, not from the book, but from somewhere else, and then corroborate those two and see the links and actually help propel me to actually ace this, because I really, really want, I really need this. After that, I want to go and get a CAF license D for e-coaching. So that's what I'm doing this year. I'm supposed to supposed to be finished in the next 6 months. So it's going to be very, very intense with the schedule that I have. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but this now takes priority over everything. This now takes priority over everything. So in the next, I know I'm supposed to be doing 40 cultures, 40 languages in 40 days, but I would have to actually try and fit that wherever it may fit, but this take precedence over everything. So that's what I'm doing right now. I hope we are actually gonna journey together, actually see me through this.
See here, plus many more that are hidden below and that are to the right. All of these together make up a sheet, and you'll see that it's named here in the lower left corner, sheet 1. All of the cells, all of the rows and columns make up a sheet. Now, it is possible to have more than one sheet. I'll click here in the lower left corner to add a second sheet. And the collection of sheets that you have makes up what we call a workbook. This particular workbook now consists of 3 sheets. Now, there are some synonyms that you'll hear sometimes. Sometimes instead of saying sheet, people will say worksheet or spreadsheet. Those are all synonyms. But those are pretty much all of the terms that you need to learn to have a good vocabulary and understand the anatomy of a spreadsheet. In addition to the anatomy of a spreadsheet, Google Sheets has its own components and parts that you need to learn. For example, across the top, we have some menus. If I click on File, I get a list of options and tools and features. If I click on Edit, I get other options, tools, and features. Same with View, Insert, and all of the rest. So these menus are where a lot of the powerful features in Google Sheets can be found and accessed. We also have some formatting tools here. We can change the font size, all of these other formatting options that we have. And there are some other tools here as well, like an undo and redo. So when using Google Sheets, you'll find yourself coming up here quite often to use the menus and these formatting options here on this toolbar. Let's look to the upper right. Here in the upper right area of Google Sheets, one of the most important things that we have here is the share button. If I click the share button, it brings up options for me to share this spreadsheet with others. And later in this course, I will show you specifically how this works. But for now, just know that that's where you can go to easily share your spreadsheets, your workbooks with others. On each side of the share button, we have some powerful tools. We have a button here to join a call, a Google meeting, basically. And this can be helpful, like it says here, if you want to present this Google Sheet to a group of people in a call. Next to that, we have a comments button. This is particularly useful if you are collaborating with someone else on your Google Sheet. You can make comments back and forth and see each other's comments. Another helpful feature, especially when collaborating with others, is this button. If I click it, it will show the versions of this document. Each major change is listed here, and as I add to the spreadsheet, make changes, if I click here, those changes will be represented, and I can go back at any time to a previous version, and then click Restore this version if I need to. On the right side of the share button, we have Ask Gemini. Now, if you use Google Sheets through your school or through the company that you work for, you may not see Ask Gemini. It's being rolled out gradually, so you may not have that yet. But this is a way to bring in artificial intelligence into your spreadsheet. Now let's look at the right side of Google Sheets. Here we have a list of integrations that Google gives me between Google Sheets and other Google products. If you use Google Keep, for example, which is a wonderful tool, you should watch my video on that tool. You can click here to tap into your Google Keep account, and you can bring in content and interact with it from Google Keep, even though you're working in Google Sheets. Same with Google Calendar, there's a task list, maps, and more. Finally, let's look here. Above the spreadsheet itself, we have two powerful pieces of the anatomy of Google Sheets. Here we have what's called the name box in the upper left. When you click on a cell, the name box will display the name of that cell, B3, H10. What about a range? When I click and drag to highlight a range, the name box tells me what the name of that range is. Now there's more that you can do with the name box, so keep watching, but it's a powerful feature. And the last piece of the anatomy of Google Sheets is the formula bar. You find it here, and the formula bar will always tell you what the contents of a particular cell are. So in this case, I just have gibberish in that cell, and it shows me that here. Later in this course, I will teach you how to create simple formulas. For example, I want to add 1, 2, and 3, and 4, tap enter. Cell E2 now looks like it has the number 10 in it. But if I select E2, I can look at the formula bar to see that that's not really the case. It looks like there's 10 in E2, but actually there's a formula that produces the number 10. So the Google Sheets formula bar can really help us, especially when we're working with formulas. So in this segment of Google Sheets for Beginners, the complete course, I've taught you the anatomy of a spreadsheet with columns, rows, cells, and ranges. And then I also taught you the anatomy of Google Sheets, looking at menus, toolbars, options, the name box, and the formula bar. In the next segment of Google Sheets for Beginners, the complete course, I will teach you how to enter cell values and data in Google Sheets. In this next segment of Google Sheets for Beginners, the complete course, you will learn how to enter cell values and data into Google Sheets. This, in a lot of ways, is the heart of Google Sheets. And let's pretend that I work for a small business. I've been asked to create a payroll spreadsheet for the employees. Let's say here in column A, I want to put in the employees' ID numbers, column B, their names, column C, other information about them, like maybe what department that they work for, etc. And in Google Sheets, anytime you want to insert data or other information into a cell, it's important that you first select the cell or click on it. There's a wonderful way to remember this, and that is select to affect. If I want to affect this spreadsheet at all, I first must.
Okay, most of you all might not know I'm doing sports management. Since you all know that this is a sports channel. In sports management, some of the modules that are there is word processing, which is easy for most of us because you study that at school, and also the spreadsheet that goes together with that. It goes without saying, most of us are familiar with that, but I'm not from those kind of schools that made such things available. I was matriculated in 2007, so that 19 years ago. So having matriculated in 2007, that gives me 19 years ago without actually learning these things. So I'm only familiarizing myself with them. It's word processing, spreadsheet, it's sociology of sport, sports medicine and injuries, sport marketing and sponsorship, club management and administration, coaching and training, sports psychology and sports nutrition, sport event and management. So it's a lot of information that I need to actually grind in and learn about, and it's going to take a very, very precious time, I think, and I have to enrich all this kind of knowledge in the next couple of weeks. I don't know if I will manage, but I have a lot to do in the next couple of weeks coming. So this 40 languages, 40 cultures and 40 days, I think it's gonna take a seat back because I need to actually finish this course. It's very, very important, and I need to ace it, I need to pass it, and I need a cum laude on it. So that's what I'm preparing right now. So it's a spreadsheet, but this is not entirely spreadsheet as far as my module is concerned, but this is a Google Sheet. So I'm comparing the two and see what's gonna work, and then how it's gonna help me moving forward. But it's very, very important that I know this and actually make those comparisons to make sure that I pass this module. So after that one is sociology in sport, but I think I'll skip that one for sports medicine and injuries because I think that's very, very critical, and I need to actually know everything. I think it will deal with the anatomy, physicality of a person, and so on and so on and so forth. So, but now it's spreadsheet. That's why you hear the sound that you're hearing in the background.
Select something. So D2, I selected it, now I can affect it. I can type or change its formatting or do a few other things to affect the spreadsheet and specifically this cell. If I don't select it, nothing's going to really affect it. So try to remember that. Select to affect. So let's say I want to affect cell A1. I need to click on it to select it, and now I'm ready to affect cell A1. Let's say the first employee that I want listed here has an employee ID number of 1001. Because I've selected A1, I can type 1001. So now it looks like 1001 is stored in cell A1. That's not exactly true yet though. To make it really be stored there, I need to tap enter or return on the keyboard, and now cell A1 is no longer blank. It has the number 1001 stored in that cell. Now notice when I tapped enter that the active cell moved down one. You can always tell the active cell because it is highlighted. You'll notice a box around it with a little circle in the corner. So when I typed in 1001, tapped enter, the active cell moved down.
Hey, Zakala, I get glass off, glass. Okay, well, that's all.
Perfect, because that's where I want to type the next employee's ID number, 1002. Tap enter, and the active cell moves down again. And now I can type 1003, 1004, and so on. I can just keep on doing this for all 500 employees. But that is kind of a repetitive task, and fortunately, Google Sheets has a built-in feature that makes this unnecessary. You don't have to keep typing in one number after the next. That feature is called the fill handle, and you'll find the fill handle in the lower right corner of a selected cell or even range. It's this little blue circle. Now, the way this works is the fill handle, it's used to quickly replicate data, formulas, or extend a pattern or a series. So for example, if I select A4 and then click and hold the click on the fill handle, I'll just drag down and look what happens. It's copying the contents of cell A4 all the way down as far as I asked it to copy paste them. In this case, that's not what I want. I don't want a lot of 1004. I want the pattern that I've established here to be extended. So for that, I'm going to click and drag to show Google Sheets the pattern that I want. Each time I go down a cell, this number gets one higher. So with that pattern shown to Google Sheets by highlighting it, I can go to the fill handle, click and drag down the spreadsheet, and I'll go all the way down to row 50, and I'll release the mouse button, and you can see what it did. Google understood the pattern and extended it because I used the fill handle. Now, what if the pattern were a little different? What if it was 1001, 1003, 1005? I can click and drag to show Google Sheets that pattern, use the fill handle, drag down, and that pattern is extended. Next, I'm going to click on cell B1 because I want to affect cell B1. With it selected, with it clicked upon, I'm going to type the first employee's name. I'll tap enter, and I'll type the next employee's name. Tap enter, and each time I tap enter or return, it moves me down to the cell below. I'll type Amy in this case, tap enter. Now, as I'm entering in data, names,
Mian Salman, welcome back, bro. Welcome back. It's been a minute since I've seen you. If I'm not mistaken, the last time I saw you, it was 2025, probably on New Year's Eve. So I hope you're good, bro. I hope you're good in Pakistani. I hope everything is going well there. It's good in South Africa. Actually, there's no sun today. It's a gloomy weather. It looks like it's going to rain soon. But yeah, we're living, bro. It's nice. It's nice. Welcome back, bro. It's nice to have you here. In next 40 minutes, we will pause my study here and do 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days. We're going South America. We are going to do Incas. Then next is going to be Europe. Not Europe, Asia, I mean. Asia. You went here when we were doing the Arabic language. I hope you actually understand the language. I like you very much. I like you too, Mayan Salman. I like you too, bro. I think you've been actually coming and adding positive energy like the rest of the people here. So, yeah, we are slowly becoming a family. Though it's a small family, and it makes actually easy for me to remember each and every one of you, every one of y'all's name and where you're from, and actually some of your interests. No, though I'm not remembering all your interests, but I know that the majority of you loves cricket. You people loves cricket so much. So, but you coming here and actually adding positive vibes, I think I really, really appreciate it. I love you so much.
Whatever it might be, into Google Sheets. There may be times when I need to go back and correct my work. So for example, John in this case is missing an H. Let's say John spells his name with an H in there. I want to correct that. And this gives me the opportunity to teach you the difference between clicking on a cell and clicking in a cell. As you work in Google Sheets, there will be times when you need to be on a cell, and there are times when you'll need to be in a cell. The way you get on a cell is simply by clicking once on that cell. So I'm on this cell. If I want to be on B2, I just click once on B2. I'm on the cell. When you're on a cell,
Assalamualaikum, Mian Salman. I'm not good in English. Talking is a problem. I understand, bro. I understand. That's why I try to learn languages. And as I'm going to Asia, I think, because there are so many of you all from Pakistan and also Bangladesh, and I'll need to actually make a decision. And India also, between those three countries, I need to make a decision which country to start on, whether it's Pakistan, Bangladesh, or India. But since I've done the Arabic, it's actually Arabic is harder. And I thought Urdu, yeah, Urdu. Somebody actually came in and actually suggested I study Urdu. And that guy was from Pakistan. I forgot his name, but he was from Pakistan. How do I forget that bro's name? Because he's always on the stream and actually adding positive energies. And I learn a lot from that bro. Actually, he's moved to South Africa. No, he was from Iran, but he told me about Urdu language. But he was from Iran, so he's moved to South Africa ever since. And he's very, very in tune with what's going on in the country in South Africa. Hence, I no longer want to call him Iranian. I rather said he's a South African. He's been in South Africa since 2006. So that's like 20 years. So he's a South African now. But thank you. I'll check out Urdu as soon as I go to Asia. We start in Pakistan. We do Urdu. And then the rest will follow after Urdu. I heard Urdu is closely related to Arab, to Hindi, and a little bit of Italiano somewhere there in the mix. But I will really, really, really love actually see the origins of the Urdu and the people and the culture, maybe way before everyone was actually ingrained into Arab, because Arab somehow had a conquest, I think from the 8th century, I don't know for how long. But before that, how was the Urdu people living? What were their interests, their culture, their customs, what they loved, how they actually make their livings, make their end meets, all those type of things. So that's what I actually want to learn about the Urdu. Should I say Urdu? Yeah, I think when we go to Asia, that's what we're doing. We're doing as Pakistan first. Actually, we have a lot of Pakistan O's in South Africa. Probably I will need to get one of them to actually teach us Urdu. I need to find out if I can see one brother from Pakistan here in South Africa who actually understands the culture of Urdu and the language of Urdu and the history concerning the Urdu. If I cannot find such a person, then I will do what I've been doing with the rest of the country, from Italy to what I was doing yesterday in Ahoy people, Navo people. Why am I mispronouncing now these people? But that's what I'm trying to do. If I can actually find somebody here in South Africa who is of Urdu people and understand the language and the culture and the origins of the culture, I think it will actually make things easy, rather than actually reading all the information off of Google. Because sometimes Google information, I don't trust it. 100% of the time, I don't trust it. Probably I give it a 50% chances, because everybody has an access to Google. Everybody has an access to internet. People can type things. And then I go around and actually gather all this information and make one specific document to actually address a certain or a specific topic. But you can't be certain that everything that is there or that you find there is actually the truth. So I think having covered 2 languages already in that sense, which is Italy and Novak people, I think I will really need to actually do justice in the future to actually go to Italy and find historians there who would actually help me go through the culture of the Italians. And I would really like to go also to Vatican City and find out the history concerning that city as well. I don't know, but it's the plans of the future, because I feel like I'm misrepresenting these cultures. I'm not doing enough justice as far as these cultures are concerned. So since here in South Africa we do have Pakistan people, probably I will try and see if I can find a Pakistani that understand Urdu, so that when I want to do, when I go to Asia and want to do one of the language, culture, and the origin, maybe I could speak to them. But I will see if I can find anybody. And also as far as Arab is concerned, because we do have people here who practice Islam religion, probably second round will be me founding an imam and actually speak to them. I think they will speak in depth as far as the Arabic is concerned, other than what I found on Google. As I've said, that I don't trust 100% everything that I read from the internet, because I have also written some stuff on the internet. Some of those things I'm not certain that are actually truth, but it is what it is. It's in my interest that I actually go and find the truth in the future pertaining those things, because if I may say something that is not 100% correct, or that is not historically correct, I would actually need to find the people who actually are affected, and then learn from them to actually correct that mistake that I've made. But yeah, we will see if I can find anyone in South Africa from Pakistan who can actually speak Urdu and understand the culture and also the origin of the people. I think that would be very dope to find such a person. And when we come to South Africa, every language that we will cover from South Africa, we will speak to people with a depth knowledge as far as that topic is concerned. So it's going to be very dope. I think that will set the tone on what these 40 languages, 40 cultures is supposed to be doing, by actually doing exactly that here in South Africa. Then we will start to branch around the world and actually see all these beautiful people that we've been speaking about. I love you, South Africa. My best team cricket, South Africa. My best players is AB de Villiers and Mila and Gibbs. Thank you very much. Mayam Salman, thank you very much. We love you so much here in South Africa, but we love you so much. You cannot understand. And your home brothers who are here in South Africa can testify to that. I think they are receiving the best love here in the country. I haven't actually heard that they've been mistreated. They've been running their business quietly wherever they are, and I want to actually find one of them who can actually speak Urdu and knows the culture, the origin, but also can speak English, because I cannot speak the language. I can only greet in Arabic, Assalamu alaikum. That's it. That's it. And it's funny that I only remember that as far as the Arabic language is concerned. It's very crazy. Why, on the other hand, when it comes to Italian, I still remember pronto, piacere, buongiorno. That's it. Oh, then I might be stupid then to learn to actually forget. Okay, as I was saying here, I am learning. As I was saying, at the moment, I am learning. I'm familiarizing myself actually with some of my modules that I'm doing in sports management. So I want to ace that. So I want to get a cum laude, and I think that will set the tone for everybody else. So I can't encourage everyone who's still in school to pass their subject or their studies or to get good grades if I myself cannot get those grades. So it honors are with me that I need to actually ace this, and then show y'all that it can happen. If you put your mind to something, then it can happen. Then everybody needs to go to school and just excel after that one, because there's no excuse. I myself did it. Y'all can did it. No diddy. Please come back. AB de Villiers, please. I think AB de Villiers is old now. I don't think it will be justice to actually young cricketers to actually bring the OG back into the field while they're energetic, full of love of the game, and they actually want to make their name and prove themselves that they can be as great as AB de Villiers, I don't think it would be great to actually bring him back to the field, but maybe in technical stuff, I think he actually might be an asset, a great one in that, to actually help these youngsters to be better players. They can be as far as maybe as greater than even AB de Villiers himself. But thank you for that. Thank you for that, Mayam Salman. May I continue with the study here? Thank you for engagement, bro.
Anything that you type will erase what already exists in that cell. So if I need to, I can type in John again and spell it correctly, and it's fixed when I tap enter. I'm going to undo that though, because I want you to see that if you click twice on a cell, double click on it, now you're inside the cell. Notice the flashing cursor after the N in John. So now when I type, it's not going to overwrite what already exists in the cell. I could add to what's already there, or I could use the arrow keys or the mouse to get to a specific place in the cell to make a correction. This is going to be very important when you're doing data entry in Google Sheets. You're going to need to sometimes be in the cell, sometimes on the cell. Any changes that you make are only recorded once you tap enter, or alternatively, you could tab out of the cell, or you could click away from the cell. Those are all ways to kind of record the changes that you made in that cell. Now, so far in this segment of the course, I've been focused on, as you enter data into Google Sheets, on the fact that when you tap enter, you move down the spreadsheet. And that's true. But what if you find yourself needing to move up the spreadsheet? Of course, you can use the mouse and just click, but you'll find as you use Google Sheets more and more, you're going to want to keep your hands on the keyboard as much as possible. It will make you much more efficient in your use of Google Sheets. So enter moves down, but if I hold shift and tap enter, it moves me up. And sometimes you end up having to tap enter twice to get it to move up. But this is going to be very helpful to you as you do data entry in Google Sheets. Enter moves down, shift enter moves up. Now, what about right and left? I already mentioned tab. If you tap tab, it moves you to the right. And I can tab over as much as I want. If I need to move left, you probably guessed it, it's shift tab. And that moves you quickly to the left. So I would like to put in the hourly wage for each of these employees. And I want that to go into column C. I'm going to tap tab to move over to column C, and I'll put in Julia's hourly wage. I'll tap enter, and you'll notice that Google Sheets, sometimes when you tap enter or return, it'll move you down and to the left at times. So I'll tab over again. John's hourly wage, let's say it's 14. I'll tab over. Amy's is 20, and I'll tap enter. Give me a minute to finish filling out the list of employees and their hourly wages, and I'll resume the video. Next, I need to show you how to copy and clear Google Sheets data. In most cases, the easiest way to copy data from one cell to another is to click on the cell that has the data you need, hold Control, and tap C to copy. Now, if you're on a Mac computer, it would be Command C. Now that I've copied it, I just go to where I want to paste that data, and I hold Control and tap V to paste. Now, there are other ways to do this. You can go to the Edit tab after selecting a cell or range of cells, and you can choose Copy and do it that way, and Paste. But most people will find it easiest to use the keyboard shortcut, Control C or Command C on a Mac. In order to clear a Google Sheets cell, again, there are a couple of ways you could do this. Probably the most common way is just to click on a cell and tap Delete or Backspace on the keyboard, and it clears the value out of the cell. Having said that, there are sometimes other aspects of the cell that do not get cleared when you just tap Delete. In cases like that, you may need to go here.
Makentira, what's good, bro, what's good? Welcome back, bro. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Welcome back. You always bring in positive vibes, engagements. Today I'm studying, it's one of the modules I have with the sport management. So it includes word processing spreadsheet and sociology of sport medicine and injury, sport marketing and sponsorship, club management and club administration, coach and training, sport psychology, sport nutrition, sport management and event. So I'm trying to look at spreadsheet. I want to pass this. I want to ace it, bro. I want to ace it. Imran, what's good? Imran, what's good, bro? Welcome. So today I'm studying, I'm trying to actually remind myself of a spreadsheet, because when I go to actually write that exam, I want to ace it. I want I can't compromise, bro. I need 80% upwards. 80% upwards. The least I could get is 80%. Otherwise, it has to be more than that. So that's what I want to get. Because after this sports management course, I actually need to go and do CAF licensing D, CAF license D, coaching license with USAFA. I'm hoping that by the end of the year I will have done it. But first, I need to ace this sport management course and actually do the best I can. I can't just pass. I need to actually really nail it. So that's why I'm reminding myself of the looking at this spreadsheet and how it works. My son is in army, but now lived in South Africa. Misa. Miyam Salman, your son, how old is your son? In army. Now he lives in South Africa. I wonder where about in South Africa. How old is your son?
Menu bar and click on Format and choose Clear Formatting. So let's look at an example. If I bold cell C3, and then if I click on
South
C3
African
and tap
mission.
delete, it gets rid of the value, but then later, anything that's typed in that cell, it still has the formatting that I selected earlier. Well, I want to clear that formatting, so I click on cell C3, select to effect, and then I go to Format, choose Clear Formatting, and it's cleared. So those are a couple of ways that you can clear data that's in Excel, either the data itself or its formatting. Okay, next, in column D, I want to put in the number of hours that each of these employees worked in the last month. So I'll tab over to column D, cell D1, and I'll type in, let's say 150 for Julia. I'll tap enter. Now, as I'm working, you may be realizing that there's a little bit of a problem developing. The more information I put in Google Sheet, the harder it is to remember what each of these pieces means. What is this? What's this? What is this? Is why we need column headings. So I would like to insert row above row number 1 and put in some headings so I always know what this number represents, what this number represents, and this number. To insert a row, there are a few different ways you can do that in Google Sheets, but one of the most common is right-click on the row number that's below the row you want to insert. So I want to insert a row at the very top. So right click on row number 1. Then I'll choose insert one row above. Now there are times when you'll want to insert a column as well. To do so, just right click on the column that's to the right. You want the new column to appear. So I'll right click on column A and I'll choose insert one column to the left. Now you'll notice that there is also the option one to the right, and same with rows, there was an option to insert one below or above, but in most cases, you are going to want the one that's just to the right of where you want to insert the column. Now, what if I wanted to insert a row here between Zoe and Mateo? That's okay, I can do that. I can right click on the 8, choose insert one row above, and now there's a blank row between them. I'm going to hold Control and tap Z a couple of times to undo a couple of those changes that I put into this spreadsheet. Okay, so now that I've created a blank row at the top of my data, I can click on cell A1 and type in a heading for this column. Let's call this column employee number. I'll tap tab to move over to 1, and I'll type name, tab over, hourly wage, tab over, and hours worked. And I'll tap enter. And actually, I want to add one more column heading here in column E. So in this case, I just clicked on column E, and I'll type taxable income, tap enter. Now you'll as I've entered in these column headings, really none. And some of these other column headings are really short, and yet there's a lot of space provided. So let's fix this. When you're working with columns and also rows in Google Sheets, there will be times when you need to resize the column or row. There is a manual way to do so and an automatic way. So let's do the manual way first. If I want to just stretch out column A, I can put my mouse between column A and column B. There's a line separating those two columns, and I can put my mouse on that line, click, and then drag it out to be as wide as I want it to be.
Okay, I've got the gist of this. Because it was actually a reminder on how things function. But the move, another important effect, module that I actually look forward to that would actually give me a little bit of problems that I need to actually be on spot with it is the sport medicine and injuries. So as a coach, it's very, very important that you know and understand that and what it means and how to go about some of those things. So that is one of the things that I wanted to actually look for today. And I'd have to actually make a lot of notes as far as that is concerned. Let's go. I know why there's no sound in this. Let me try and fix that. What are you doing? How are you? How are you? Hi everyone. It's Catherine. Kartiki. I'm studying. I'm doing sport management. So I am studying sports medicine and injuries. So first I had to actually remind myself of a spreadsheet because it's one of the modules that are there. But the aim was the sport medicine and injury. So I actually need to understand all those modules because they are part and parcel of being a coach. Hence, that's what I'm doing today. So maybe I'll start by the prevention and preparation to reduce injuries. Those are the things that you need to understand. Whether you work with the juniors or the senior players. So these are the things and the concepts that you need to do. You want to minimize injuries as much as possible as a coach, because it is your job that you have a fit team all the time and everybody is ready to actually go into that field of play and perform. So you want to know these things so that you prevent them or you minimize them from happening. So, but the problem we have here, I wasn't finding the sound.
Right. Hey, everyone. Thanks
Here
for
we go.
joining in. So today is one of our National Fellow Online Lecture Series
Actually,
with Dr. Lee Mancini.
hold up, Liman, hold up.
Gentlemen, welcome back into the One Health Podcast. I'm your host, Tori Schmelzer. I'm a fitness enthusiast / fitness entrepreneur. My goal is to share the knowledge I gather to be industry experts with as many people as I can. Welcome back for another week. We want to thank those of you who've shown us love on iTunes, on Spotify, on Facebook, Instagram. We really do appreciate that. For those who are new to the show, each week we are going to bring on experts in different areas of health. So that could be physical health, mental health, professional health, spiritual health, you name it, we cover it. We don't claim to be experts in any of these subjects. We just know the people who are, and we interview them for the greater good. Shout out to our sponsors, EcoGym and Motivate You. Make sure you guys go to shop.teammotive, the number 8, the letter N, and the letter U.com, and sign up for your free macro plan today. All listeners are going to receive that special offer, so act now. Also, EcoGym. These guys are giving away a week free of their revolutionary group fitness classes called Surge that are going to change the way you guys think about group fitness. They're also doing red light therapy, hyperbaric therapy, tanning, smoothies, meals, supplements, you name it, they've got it covered. So make sure you guys go to ecogymworldwide.com, sign up for your free 7-day pass now. All listeners are going to receive discount this month. Today on the show, we have a truly amazing individual joining us, Dr. Eric Shahab from the Illinois Bone and Joint Institute. Dr. Shahab, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
To give you guys a little bit of background on Dr. Shahab, he is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon, fellowship trained in sports medicine. He provides general fracture care, but specializes in the treatment of sports-related injuries, in particular the knee and the shoulder. Dr. Shahab provides advanced treatments for anterior cruciate ligament injuries, shoulder injuries, including rotator cuff and shoulder instability and soft tissue and bone trauma. Graduated from Harvard and Stanford and completed his orthopedic surgery residency at the Hospital for Special Surgery in New York City, which is recognized by U.S. News and World Report as the nation's #1 hospital for orthopedics. Is that it?
That's it.
Just Harvard and Stanford, no big deal. I just want to make sure I didn't leave anything out there.
No.
Okay, excellent, excellent. So I guess, start us off here. What made you go down this path, your journey into medicine, this industry? What made you kind of gravitate towards that?
So probably my mom, who's a nurse, when I was growing up, I was always exposed to the medical community. She practiced as a medical assistant in an OB-GYN office, and so I would meet the docs. And then I played sports, and I got hurt, and I got a bunch of orthopedic.
Something's not right here. Something is not right with what I'm actually consuming. It's not going to help me in
Stop taking
anything.
meeting notes and let ClickUp AI Note Taker do it for
That
you.
wasn't going to
It
help
allows you
me.
to focus on your meetings, not your.
This is going to help me.
Defining injury in sport is a significant challenge, mainly due to its subjective nature. You see, what may appear as an injury to one person might not seem the same to another. One athlete might still be able to function quite well despite feeling some pain, while another might find it impossible to play even with slight discomfort. This creates all sorts of problems for research and by extension the practice of sports medicine, because if we don't know how to define an injury, figuring out its impact or how to develop a rehabilitation or prevention program is next to impossible. Add to that the tendency for injuries to have profound psychological aspects too, like stress or pressure, which can significantly hamper an athlete's performance, and injury definitions become even more complex. And then there are the various types of physical injuries, from simple sprains and strains to more severe cases like fractures or concussions. The upshot of all this is that defining injury is really hard. So in this lecture, we're going to delve into how sports injuries are defined, what they are, and how they occur, and their effects.
When we refer to sports injuries, we are talking about injuries that occur during sporting activities or exercise. At its most basic, in research literature, an injury is defined as tissue damage or other derangement of normal physical function due to participation in sports, resulting from rapid or repetitive transfer of kinetic energy. Injuries can occur as a result of an acute traumatic event like a collision or a fall, or as a result of repetitive stress.
Now, some of the things that are very, very important in what causes the injuries is acute, which is sudden onset, which is, example, a sprinter pulls up suddenly in a race, stops and hobbles in a few steps, obviously in pain. with a hamstring injury. That's an example. Sometimes repetitive or sudden onset. A gymnast experiences a tibial and a fibular fracture on landing from a vault. CT imaging revealed pre-existing morphological changes consistent with the bone stress, that is a stress fracture. So this is very, very intense. Repetitive again. A swimmer experiences a gradual increase in shoulder pain over course of a season. Diagnosed a rotator cuff tendinopathy of MRI. So you actually need to ingrain all those things into your brain going to the exams, because you don't know what the exam is going to be about. So it's very, very important that, because I believe that this is the most intense part as far as sports management is concerned. There's other things like sociology of sport. I do understand that because I do analysis in sports most of the times. Though I'm not a pro, but I could hold my own with the pros when it comes to actually football analysis, and actually looking at the formations and actually predict what the other or the opposition will come about. What are they going to do in the field of play, and also knowing actually the men who are actually in place in that setup actually helps a lot. So when it comes to that, I think it can be a little bit easy. But when it comes to what I'm actually learning right now, which is sports medicine and injury, it's kind of tricky because I have no medical training prior to this. So everything for me is new. Though I've been injured a couple of times, I don't have teeth because I fell off the bike at an accident. Those are some of the injuries that happens in sport, because biking is sport on its own. But to actually ingrain it into my psyche, the medicine of sport and injuries, I think it's going to be a little bit challenging. So I think 60% of my focus as far as this cause is concerned, I think we'll have to actually make sure that I ace this. And if I do ace this, the rest, sports psychology, sports nutrition, sport event and management, club management and admin, I think that's going to be a walk in the park. But the injuries, the medicine and injuries, and actually defining these injuries, preventing such injuries, all those things, that takes experience. To be frank, I can read it and pass it with 100%, but it takes practice. So I will need at some point to go out there and actually put this into practice. That means not too long from today, I will need to actually quit the job that I'm doing, actually focus on my actually coaching journey. I will need to find a job as a coach to actually put all these into practice. Because I can, as I've said, I can study this and actually know it from the book, but there's nothing beats experience, to experience that in first hand, to deal with it on that field of play, on that ground roots, growing up. Maybe start with the youth, move up the ranks. I don't know what's going to happen, but we will see what's available. But this is very, very important. I think it's very, very important. I think it's been a long time since I've had interest on something. But thanks to you guys and to this channel, you motivated me to actually continue on this journey. So far, I owe this one to y'all, so I need to ace it. In honor of y'all's gracious love that you've always come and show here on this channel.
That definition is a good start, but it doesn't really tell us anything practical about the tissues involved or the severity of the injury, or how long recovery will take. To make things more pragmatic, let's look at defining injury through a couple of different lenses.
The first lens involves classifying injuries according to what kind of tissues they affect. Fundamentally, injuries affect at least one of the four classifications of human tissue: nervous, epithelial, muscle, or connective. This means that injury will involve damage to one of these tissues. Fundamentally, injuries affect at least one of the four classifications of human tissue: nervous, epithelial, muscle, or connective. This means that injury will involve damage to one of these tissues, specifically interfering with physical function and subsequently participation in sport. For example, nervous tissue damage could lead to numbness or weakness, such as nerve impingement from a herniated disc. Epithelial tissue may be damaged in injuries like skin abrasions. Muscle tissue injuries are probably the most widely recognized classification of injury in sport and include things like strains and tears. Connective tissue, which includes ligaments and tendons, are the culprits in sprains and tendinopathies. The next of our defining injury lenses centers around the nature of their onset. Do they come on suddenly after a collision, or perhaps the injury is a little more pernicious, developing slowly over time? There are generally considered to be three main types of injury onsets: acute injuries, sudden onset repetitive injuries, and gradual onset repetitive injuries. An acute injury happens after a sudden trauma and usually hurts straight away. Examples of acute injuries include ligament sprains, bone fractures, and joint dislocations. These occur due to a specific and identifiable event, usually involving a high force impact or unusual movement, a fall, a tackle, or some kind of collision.
Running breaks your joints. Tai Chi builds them back. After 50,
on the other hand, repetitive injuries can be broken down into those with sudden onset and those with gradual onset. Repetitive injuries with sudden onset can happen when an individual performs an activity they are not conditioned for, leading to unexpected trauma. These injuries often feel like acute injuries, but they are actually caused by repetitive stress over time. This important lens gives some context to our definition of injury, because context is key in defining sports injuries. The type of sport, the level of competition, and the position played can all influence the nature of the injury. A professional rugby player and a recreational runner may both experience a knee injury, but the causative factors, the severity, and the implications could be markedly different because the contexts, direct contexts such as a tackle in rugby, can lead to certain acute injuries, while overuse or poor technique can result in gradual onset injuries. Environmental factors, such as playing on a hard surface, can also contribute to injury risk. To simplify matters, think about it through a sequence lens, starting with physical complaints, the potential need for medical attention, and then the amount of time loss incurred. Some injuries will have all three of these characteristics, whereas others will only have one or two. All injuries tend to start with a physical complaint, the discomfort or abnormal feeling experienced by the athlete. You might feel knee pain after running, but it may not interfere with your regular activities, and you may not seek medical attention for it. If you perceive the physical complaint as being significant, you may seek medical attention. This could be something like a muscle strain, where you pursue professional, medically informed treatment to aid your recovery, but it might not necessarily mean you miss any games or training. The third in the sequence are injuries that lead to time loss, where you can't play your chosen sport. And this is usually, but not always, associated with the last step in the sequence, where you sought out medical attention. An example might be an anterior cruciate ligament or ACL tear, which needs surgery and a considerable amount of time away from sport for rehabilitation.
This raises an important point about the importance of defining injury through another lens, that of severity. The sequence I talked about, which starts with the physical complaint, feeds into seeking medical attention, and culminates in time loss. That can be used to give an idea of how severe the injury is. Severity is determined by several parameters, including the type and extent of tissue damage, the effect on the athlete's ability to participate in their sport, and the duration of recovery. Practically speaking, minor injuries typically don't cause significant disability or time loss. Moderate injuries might limit athletic performance and require a recovery period, but they don't lead to permanent disability. And severe injuries could cause significant disability. They might require surgical intervention or lead to substantial or even permanent period away from the sport. That rounds out our definition of injury, what tissues they affect, the nature of their onset and their severity, both in terms of physical complaints
Okay, now it's time. I have to stop my study. I will resume it later. Now it's time uh, for the fourth episode of 40 languages, 40 cultures in 40 days. So I need to go to South America and do the Incas, INCAS tribe. So I will actually end the stream and restart it specifically for that language and culture right now. So I will need to stop this one, the study, and actually jump back in with 40 days of 40 languages and 40 cultures. So we are going to South America in cars. Okay, without further ado, let me go and come back in a minute.